can do anything we like. I'm also nervous talking to you. Hello, everyone. That's what I would have said because Ndinema.
Oh, I see.
But I'm not. So, hi, guys. My name is Saliya Miyanda.
Hello and welcome. I'm Boyeti Mojala, the founder and the host of the Self Revolution podcast. I hope your year was off to a great start. If not, don't worry. We are all about renewal and transformation. So today I'm joined by Vubwi, or rather Saliya Miyanda.
Hello, everyone. That's what I would have said because Ndinema.
Oh, I see.
But I'm not. So, hi, guys. My name is Saliya Miyanda.
Okay, so she is a versatile artist, a radio and TV presenter, a comedian, and an artist, like a musician, like that is. So Saliya is known to bring a unique energy to everything she does. So I'm sure you will enjoy this episode as much as I will.
Okay.
Yeah. So how have you been?
I've been great. I mean, life has been lifing, adjustments to adulthood. Because, like, adulthood is the most hood I've been to. They never prepare you for these things.
No, they don't.
When our parents say, exactly. That's exactly what we're adjusting to right now. But overall, it's been amazing, and it's all because of God's grace. I don't know how it's been with you.
For me, it's all been God. He's been there for me. Yeah, I've seen His goodness.
Yeah,
and just like you said, growth. That one. You never get prepared for that one, but then we're still pushing. We keep moving, and I think just put God first in everything you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and for how's been your year? Like,
so far, the beginning of my year has been quite a roller coaster.
Okay.
Because I lost my mom in February, quite tragic, and that was like after my birthday in January. So it's like I had a high moment because birthdays are always exciting.
Exactly.
And then I had like the lowest of lows of moments, and now I'm just adjusting. It's almost 2 months, and it hasn't been so hard because there's just a different type of comfort that you find when you lean on God for every circumstance that you're in. And it's something that I've learned to do as I've grown older because it's out of my control. There's nothing I can do. There's no amount of crying I can do. There's no amount of isolation and depression that can bring my mom back. It's what it is. It's God's will. It's what God intended for this particular time. So leaning on Him has been something that has carried me through the years so far.
Okay.
Yep.
My condolences for that.
Many thanks.
Okay. So for me, I knew you from the comedy part. Vubwi. Every time my brother would come, can we watch Vubwi? She's funny.
Shout out to the bro.
Yeah. No, she's very funny. So I became a fan from there.
Right.
Yeah. So when did you start your comedian journey, or rather, what do you call it?
I started in 2017. I was in university. I was doing my natural sciences.
Okay.
And then it was during the independence period when they said, no, we need students that can participate in the drama, poetry, and cultural dances just to celebrate Zambia. And so I participated in drama and culture. I just felt like poetry was a lot. Yeah. We say. I said, no, I'm just gonna do basic things. Something a chill girl would do. And so I participated in the drama and the cultural dances. So my character in the drama was initially supposed to be a mad person.
Okay.
But then there was something in me that just said, people don't choose. Like they don't wake up and decide, I'm going to be a mad person today. Like it's different reasons. It could be hormonal imbalance. It could be witchcraft even. It could be depression that could lead their minds to break. And I just felt like it's not okay to do that. That was just for me. I mean,
Okay.
there are people that do those characters in movies and they're
Yeah,
okay
yeah,
with that.
yeah.
But for me, I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But I could act drunk.
Okay.
Because initially the character was supposed to witness a murder, but because of the character's nature, everybody in the village was not supposed to believe.
Oh, okay.
Until the character takes the person and says, "Okay, look, this is what happened." And they're like,
Yeah.
You're the village fool, but you were."
Yeah.
I just saying the truth. So that's how I became Vubwi, the drunkard, and the name came from. There was a time when people were making fun of Vubwi district. Like,
Okay.
why would they name a district Vubwi district?
Yeah.
It's not Vubwi. Then they're like, that's your character name.
Yeah.
And that's how I got the name. So from the school play, it turned out that my character was the people's favorite.
Okay.
Like, people actually voted and said, we love that character. I
Yeah.
remember that time they even gave me like a 300 kwacha. They said, good job. I
You
said, I
delivered.
got you. Yes. And because I did such a good job with my character, I was invited to MC comedy night because I was at Rusango University, Lusaka
Okay.
campus.
Yeah.
But then the main campus in Monza invited me to MC comedy night as the character.
Okay.
And that's where I met two comedians, Chiweka Tebe and Jelumana Jingwala.
Okay.
And then after I MC'd, after the show was done, they were like, "Oh, you're pretty good at this. You should try stand-up comedy." And I said, no.
Why should I?
I know, right? I said, no, now. And I just like brushed it off. But they called me like 2 weeks later and said, we're having a show. We're inviting a Zimbabwean comedian and you're on the lineup. I said, what do you mean?
How did you just come to me like that?
And that's how I started my comedy journey in 2017, because they sort of like propelled me into it. It's not something that I looked at and said, oh, I can do this, or I can do that. I just thought everybody is funny growing up because my dad was funny.
Okay.
And everybody else in my family is funny. So I thought that's just the nature of humans.
Yeah.
But it turned out
Not people.
some
People are grumpy.
don't have yes. So even when they said, no, we see something new, blah, 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 I just thought it was just rubbish things.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, everybody is like this. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And then, they sort of propelled me into doing comedy. I started off as a stand-up comedian before I did skits. So I never even had a page when I started. I only had a page in 2021.
Oh,
So
okay.
2017, 18, 19, 20. I did not have a page until 2021, May. That's when I had my first page.
Oh, okay. Well, we thank God for those people.
Hallelujah.
Because if it wasn't for those people, but yeah, you're really funny. I
Thank
do
you.
enjoy your videos, like effortlessly funny.
Oh, stop. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. Okay. So and you're also an artist, right?
I am.
And where did that one start from?
My artistry started from the time that I could speak.
Okay.
I just loved singing as a kid, as a baby, and I think also credit to my dad, because my dad would sing songs to us. So even growing up in that environment where there's this man who is always singing to my lullaby, he just comes, makes up a song, amusing. We all just, because literally my two older brothers can also sing.
Oh, okay.
And one of them raps as well. So we just grew up in that musical environment, and it's just been a part of me. And I remember every weekend my dad would play Glorious Band and Don Williams, and would just immerse ourselves in the music.
Yeah.
And my brothers had a tape recorder. They would record themselves singing, rapping, and it was just so amusing for me because I was the youngest, because I'm the last born.
Oh.
So I was the youngest, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these adults in my family are doing cool things.
Yeah.
Let me try to dive into that. And that's just how I just started singing. And I didn't even realize that I could sing until 10th grade.
Okay.
When I sang once or twice in class, and people are like, "Wow, you can sing." I thought I did the regular singing that everybody does. You're in the shower.
You're just there vibing.
They the own key.
Okay.
Right notes. It's wonderful.
Everything on point.
Yes. And so my friends were like, "No, you should do music. You should do music." Although in 9th grade I was forced into the school choir, because again, I didn't believe that I could sing. I just thought I just sing, but not like sing.
Yeah.
So I had a friend that forced me into the school choir twice actually, in primary school and in secondary school, but still I doubted that I could sing. I
Mm-hmm.
think I only got to accept that I can actually sing in 11th grade.
Oh.
And even then I never intended to like sing on a larger scale, like I go to the studio, record
Yeah.
songs, shoot music
Mm-hmm.
videos, da da da. I used to sing to calm myself. So sometimes I get really anxious in public. I don't know, there's something about people that's just so scary.
But you don't seem to be anxious at
Yeah,
all.
you have no idea. I get, it's always chaotic in my mind, but physically I'll remain calm. So
Oh,
even when
okay.
I'm shy or when
Yeah.
I'm anxious,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't know unless I tell you that this is what's going on. Or like if you really know me, because sometimes I'll just start humming to calm myself.
Okay.
So that's the reason I used to sing. Like I would get really anxious. I used to chew my nails so bad because of anxiety.
Yeah.
And so I never thought I would make it like an artist on a larger scale. I just thought it's like it's an antidote for the anxiety that I usually get to have.
Yeah.
Until I started working with Bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, during shows like comedy shows, when we're doing stand-up shows, I would sing because I'm nervous, so I want to calm myself. So I would
Yeah.
sing a lot backstage, and everybody would be like, "You can sing, you can." Like, guys, don't let
Relax.
me, trying to calm myself. And sometimes I would harmonize with my friends, Venelogic, Nema. They would just join in because they can also sing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So they would always joke like, "We should make a song." Then we're just like,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. Give it to my chica.
Yeah. And then I joined Bittersweet, and then Bittersweet, my then manager Kapembo Angelani heard me sing, as well as K Star and a guy called Fedi Christian, and they were just like, "You should do something," because they also have a studio there. You should do something. And so there was a producer, Jeff, and Fedi had this instrumental that I used for my first single. So he was like, "There's this instrumental. What would you like to sing about it?" You know, I thought to myself, what could I possibly sing?
Yeah.
And then it so happened that it was around the time that Wezi was being bullied online because she had an acne outbreak.
Yeah.
And she took a picture and posted it, and everybody was just talking about it. But then she came out in the open and said, "I've been battling anxiety, depression in the background. And these things don't always manifest as just isolation
Yes.
or as like outbursts. They also manifest in your physique. Like your body will respond to the stress that you're experiencing. You could have an acne outbreak, you could lose your appetite, you could get sick, your immune system literally weakened.
You could lose weight.
Yes, this is like one of the physical manifestations. And it's just so rude that you guys are being mean without understanding
what's going on.
Yes, and you're just come on now. Then I was like,
Yeah.
you know, people actually fight battles, but they don't show it because sometimes for different reasons. Maybe they think people won't care, maybe they think solutions won't be found.
Yeah.
So that's how I recorded my first single. Did not expect it to go as far as it went.
Yeah.
But it did, and I think that's what really established me as an artist, and then just like pushed me further into writing and singing and just expressing myself.
Okay. Well, I mean, the people did the job. They made sure you
They
were there.
did.
I bet I could say they were your destiny helpers.
Yes,
in
yes,
some sort. Yeah.
most definitely.
So, like, I'm sure you would tell the people back home to say, "Oh, I'm now a comedian." So, what would be their response?
Sebakearina nasiana chokokwesha mpotoku na byanga bayadi. No, they just see me as just that.
Okay.
My family knows that I do all these things, and they know that I'm quite good at the things that I do, but it's not, I don't think it's something that they've let get to their head to a point where they start to dehumanize me and just see me as this popular person in the family.
Yeah.
And also I have not gotten so lost into it that a lot of people know me, so I should what. No, it hasn't gotten to that. And I think that part of why it hasn't gotten to that is because it has been my life for as long as I can remember. My dad is funny, my dad used to sing, and thought that everybody is funny and everybody could sing.
Yeah.
My upbringing and even the environment that I used to play in with my friends,
Yeah.
we were all differently gifted and would even have like talent shows growing up, just like today contestant number one.
Hey, yeah.
We also have performances, also have ABCD.
Uh-huh.
And for me, it was just normal. For me, it was like, yeah, this is just normal. So
Yeah.
even when people discovered that there's this person who does ABCD, I never looked at it like, I'm finally famous. I was
I've
just
made
like,
it.
more people know.
Okay.
So it didn't really get to my head. So I think because it didn't get to my head, it hasn't changed the person that I am.
Mm-hmm.
And my family can see that. And it
Mm-hmm.
hasn't gotten to their heads also to a point where whenever they meet people, they're like, that's my young sister.
That's my young
That's
sister.
my daughter.
You
That's
know
my what?"
Vubwi. That one.
No,
Yeah.
it's just there. It's like one of those things like, we're sharing my gift. They do appreciate it. I do appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
But it hasn't gotten to our heads to a point where we're now like, we need to give this person special treatment. Zina, check up your nikasikiliza penye pesa mbaliza lunch ziniembekeza. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a good thing because some people will actually end up how can I put it? They'll use you being famous as a way to maybe
Exactly
uplift themselves on social media or something. Yeah.
Not like my immediate family, my two brothers, my dad, my mom. I never even posted them on my Facebook because it's not necessary.
Yeah.
That's for me. That's business. That's my singambo post the family kumakwebo.
Yeah.
Unless you have my number, then you can see on my WhatsApp. Like I'll post them. I'll be very endearing towards them.
Yeah.
And if when you come visit home, you will see that we're like this. But I would never subject my family to social media presence because I know how mean people can get. I've seen people. Apa just Abamanya Manje J Cash did a song with Dismo and JC Kalinks about their moms. And in the music video there was J Cash's mom and Dismo's mom. And I've seen some mean comments talking about their appearances of their parents. And I think that's so distressing. I wouldn't subject my family to that.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges you faced as a female comedian?
As a female comedian, I never faced any challenges. Maybe they were there, but I didn't notice it because from my upbringing, like everything was just normal to me up until it's gotten to this point. So I never had the fame get to my head. If I let it get to my head, sembekapena ni leader.
Yeah.
Achitechi.
Yeah.
Wananchi happiness kuli advert ya chani.
Yeah.
Tena ina comedy shows wanatiki. For me, it's all about having fun. Like I'm always having fun. And I remember the first advice that was ever given to me when I was nervous to go and perform was remember to have fun. So like in everything I'm doing, I know that it's serious. I know that at the end of the day, it's going to bring some money to me that I can use to buy sunscreen. But overall, I need to have fun.
Yeah.
So I was so of course I've had my ups and downs because I've dealt with different people. These different people have got different temperaments. So their personalities are unique depending on their whatever they've experienced in life, how they were brought up, and just how they've decided to be. And I'm there like, I have to deal with that. Yes. So I think that it's even sharpened my emotional intelligence, if anything.
Okay. Oh, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So for as a comedian, right? Is it like every show that you get paid for to perform, or just those ones where they specify no, we'll pay you?
It's not all shows that we get paid for performing, especially the charity shows. Like that this show is for the greater good. When people buy the tickets, the money is going to help an orphanage or an NGO and stuff like that. So for those shows I've done for free. I remember I performed at Chinama some time back, but I don't know, I can't remember, but it was on youth day, and it was like a youth thing we were fundraising for the vulnerable children. So for charity shows, we don't get paid. For these other ones, you the bag.
Yeah, you gotta chase
You
the
almost
bag.
the bag. You wait now. Fill it up with cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about as an artist? That one, how do you like for the? I don't know if it's an album or an EP that you
I have
recently
an
released.
EP.
Yeah, BTB, Bob the
It's
Builder.
14 plus 1. You wait.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one. So, how does the money come in terms of music?
So with music,
Uh
the
huh.
money comes when you do live performances, when they call you to perform, even when there's like music playing in the background. But I prefer live performances because I feel like they strengthen your vocal cords even
Yeah.
more, and
Mhm.
you get to learn the strengths and the weaknesses of your voice,
Uh huh.
as opposed to just being complacent with playback and their miming.
Uh huh.
So that's how we make our money.
Mhm.
And then also we have online stores. So the online stores, that is, you have your music on Apple Music, on Spotify, on
Mhm.
Deezer, on Boomplay,
Mhm.
nafimbi ma YouTube Bushani.
Eh.
uh with every stream,
Uh huh.
you get some money.
Oh,
The more
okay.
people stream, the more people. This is why we drop songs and we start promoting them,
Yeah.
because we know that's why we're getting our next bag. So
Okay.
Zagabe, no matter how big an artist is,
Uh huh.
name a big artist here in Zambia that has not promoted their song. Immediately it's dropped 1 week. Muone chema real, muone chema link, muone chema because they know that the streams, the views, they translate into money
Okay.
at the end of the day. And we have distributors that we distribute music with. So there's TuneCore, there's DistroKid. You just you pay actually for a year. Sometimes it's depending on the dollar situation. Sometimes you pay 1,500. Sometimes you pay even a 2,000 kwacha. You can pay for a whole year. You can pay for 6 months. You can pay for 3 months, and then you can upload your music there.
Okay.
And from them that will collect all the money that is coming from all the stores that your music has been distributed to, whether it's Spotify, Boomplay, or yada yada yada. And then there'll be a time when they'll tell you, this is how much you've made, this is how much your song has made, how much your album has made, and then you can withdraw that money and use
Oh,
it. Yeah.
okay. I didn't know that's how people make money.
Oh,
Double check a link,
so
YouTube,
the mumaona bati
TikTok.
uyu ni wakurapa uyu but atalimbikira che alipo ni muzanu mumayopa nomuza pazona put the mic down,
see it,
take out the mic. Atalimbikira aziva beachi.
Okay, I see. Yeah, and so you mentioned that you studied at Rusango, right?
did.
So is the program that you were studying there related to what you're doing now?
It's absolutely not related. It goes this side. What I'm doing now, it goes this side.
Uh-huh.
I majored in Bachelor of Science in nursing,
Okay.
and then what I'm doing is basically journalism.
Yeah, exactly.
So no, I'm actually a journalist with no backing, but I have a backing in health.
Okay.
So if you ask me, no, tell us the pathophysiology of Shan, I got you. But if you say, hey, the Shan, relax.
Okay.
Uh,
So how did you work at Hot FM, right?
Quit FM.
Kwitu, not Hot.
No, no.
Okay, Kwitu FM. So did they tell you no, come work for us? Did you have to apply or kujanima wanakoche ma celebrity no wanakoche?
Well, I was approached,
Uh-huh.
and I was approached at the time when I was in Bali,
Okay.
when I featured in Bali. And when the CEO of Kwitu FM had a meeting with me, he told me what the vision for Kwitu is, and how I would contribute to even make it grow much bigger.
Uh-huh.
And he said we do everything in vernacular. So
Okay.
it can be Tonga, it can be Bemba, it can be Lozi,
Yeah.
whatever language you're comfortable speaking, as long as it's not English. So Kwitu is even 90% vernac and 10% English.
Oh, okay.
And so when he watched me in Padi, he said that I think in English. I'm able to think in English and then speak vernacular.
Okay.
So I'm able to even break down the serious issues that somebody who is in the deeps of deeps cannot understand. Maybe a statement was issued by the Minister of Home Affairs, and they're having a hard time to understand because everybody is explaining it in English.
Yes,
But
yes.
I'm able to
Translate it.
translate it to a point where the next person understands, because translating is one thing, but comprehension is another.
Exactly.
And so when he spoke to me, he said, I'm able to think in English and then translate it effectively in vernacular. And he said I would really contribute to the growth of the radio station and also just the vision as well.
Okay. But kujanma unakochema celebrity. So it's just for those
regular some kunache kuonekera. In fact, some posting and have some more because they are focused on the famous people. Yes.
Okay. So how's been your journey as a journalist?
It's been quite hectic. Very, very challenging because that's not my field. And I did not know the technicalities that come with that, because most of the experience that I had as a journalist, quote unquote, was from movies. Like, I'm seeing how this presenter is presenting, but in the background there's work, there's research that's going on in the background, there's you getting your facts right, because once you just mislead the masses, like, it's on you. So you have to even be locked up statistics for false information. Yes, you need to look at all those things. And aside from that, being on radio, there is also you need to get your hands into it. You need to control. You need to know when to play music, when to play adverts, when to have this phone call, when to have ABCD. So I had to learn all that, and it was so stressful. And the time that I was interning there, I was thrown onto the breakfast show, and the breakfast show is like one of the heaviest shows, because it can get political, it can get word, and you need to read the newspapers. I'm not a fan of reading. Okay, you need to read, research. What does amendment mean?
Because people ask you and you won't have anything to say.
That's only a child read. Like, over the months, I was privileged enough to work with people that were patient, people that had grace for me, and people that loved that I would love to learn, and so they were willing to teach me whenever I asked. I worked with Chichi Daisy, Ken Bumbo, Cast the Greatest, and also Sparkle. So these are the people that have shaped me into the person that I am on radio. Because they did not hold back in giving me even the smallest, the simplest thing, something that you think that's unnecessary to tell someone, that should be common sense. They took their time to literally tell me, and they've shaped me into this radio personality that I am today.
Big ups to those people. So I'm now going to dive into a little bit of your personal life. So I had a rumor.
What's the rumor?
The rumor. No, Yahantinga's young sister, Shani.
I'm actually her cousin, because she's mom's older sister's first daughter. Yes, so you know how African tradition is. That's not your cousin, that's your sister.
Yes. Oh, I see. Okay, that's my family and from what I know, you were in a relationship with Ndineema.
No, I wasn't.
You were not?
No, it's just speculation. Like, people just decided that we're in a relationship. And we neither accepted nor denied it. We just kept it there. Because even now, people don't know that we are never, ever
in a relationship.
But, like, I think it takes away from the art if we start addressing such things.
Exactly.
Because now it will become about Dinema and Shani, and no one is really going to appreciate the effort I'm putting into my music, the effort I'm putting into my skits. They will just look at me as his girlfriend, or they could just look at him as her boyfriend. So I feel like it gets attention from what is important for us for having those platforms. And so I don't think it's like something that we should sit down and start making posts and videos, denying,
you go live
for what? People will think what they want to think at the end of the day. Because there are some people that are together and people still don't believe that they're together. So, people they choose what they want. They cherry pick. I want this, I want that. Never been in a relationship.
All right. So you mentioned that it was your birthday in January, right?
January 15th.
And I saw your style, the katai thing.
I'm better for brothers and sisters.
So Like what was the inspiration behind that outfit? Like I really loved it.
The inspiration
Uh-huh.
for those outfits was just edgy, just something that's not common because I've seen a lot of birthday shoots, especially with the females.
Uh-huh.
They'll be in a dinner dress, heels,
Yeah.
red lipstick, red
Uh-huh.
eczema, weave, shiny face beat,
Full face beat,
Napa part,
everything.
Napa part.
Yeah.
Like everybody is doing that,
Uh-huh.
and quite frankly, that's not my style.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to be myself, but also to be pretty and creative
Yeah.
in being myself. So there was a vintage inspiration, there was a corporate inspiration, and there was like an in between inspiration. There's one where I just had a tie around my nanika.
Yeah.
Then because they go, I mean, Navala jackets, just the corporate side, and then the vintage one is where I was denim on denim,
Yes.
but with the twist of adding a tie and a smart shirt inside. So it was just basically me just diving into my fashion sense, one something that makes me comfortable and something that is going to be unique as opposed to every other birthday shoot that I've seen, especially for the females.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, she brings a unique sense or energy to everything she does. One guy call unique, not to doing the trending stuff.
You know,
Even if it's not your thing, you just want to do it.
Mwana mu mikolo bantu so kyalo ukoga kwalolo iwe ulalejisa.
Yeah. So how is like how has been your relationship with fellow, how can I, maybe I should call them celebrities or popular people?
I have some close friends that are quite popular. Christian Jovo, Christian the Cupid. You may know him from Tiflo Tuesdays. Emmanuel is my close friend. It even feels weird when I say his name. I'm so used to calling him Emmanuel, and sometimes when I'm talking about him and I say Emmanuel,
people won't know.
Are like, who's that?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
They know the name. So like Gezile, Teresa, Vikacha, Mandunga, Hakim, Gabi. I have quite close friends that are popular. And then with other people that are popular, they're not really friends, they are acquaintances because you can't be friends with everybody.
Exactly.
And when the vibe is not mixing, just by virtue of us being popular doesn't mean that we should be friends.
Yeah, exactly.
We can be civil around each other, we can say hi to each other when we see each other. No bad blood, but it's not necessary that we're friends. So I have quite a select number of friends that are popular, and I have a select number of friends that are just acquaintances that are popular as well.
Okay. So so what advice would you give a young girl who would like or is inspired by what you do? They say it might be music or comedy. What advice would you give them?
So the first thing I would say is trust God, put God first, because ultimately we find our identity in God. And once you have your identity with God, you will be confident because you know exactly who is backing you up. Your mom and dad can back you up to a certain extent, your family, your friends.
Yes.
But God's love, God's grace, God's mercy never in a day takes a day off. It never fails, and it's never overwhelmed. So number one, always put God first and thrive to have a relationship with God. Don't treat him like a genie, like you just go to God when you want something. You see cool sneakers, you're like, oh Father God,
I want those.
Strive to have an actual relationship, the relationship that you would want to build with a friend, the effort you put in, put it also in knowing God. Read the Bible, study the texts, and understand what the Bible is actually saying, because that's where we find ultimately the solutions to most of the things that we face in life, and just also guides us in how we should live. And then number two, we cannot run away from the fact that Zambia is a third world country.
Yeah.
And unlike Americans or South Africans or Nigerians, these countries are quite a little more advanced than us here in Zambia. Yes, we can do it, we can reach to their heights, but we cannot neglect the fact that Zambia is a third world country. So when they tell you go to school, when they tell you Fakira Kwanze school, don't feel as if they're trying to shoot your dream down. No. Because even me, I didn't start off as Vubwi and then I decided, let me even go to school. I
No.
went to school. I
First.
knew I had the facts that yes, I'm gifted. Yes, I
Yeah.
can do ABCD,
Uh-huh.
but it was never my priority. Like, manje, penasiza
Yeah.
I went to school.
Yeah.
So Zambia is a third world country. Don't lie to yourself. Don't let anybody cheat you. Go to school, get your paper, have that backing. Even if you don't get a job immediately after you get your degree or your diploma, you still have a paper, you still have a greater advantage, even when you try to fall on your gifts and they don't work out. Because sometimes, yes, we can be gifted, but our gifts may not even be that they will be known at a larger scale. I know
Yeah.
so many people that have died and they are so immensely gifted. People would even call them geniuses, but it wasn't their portion that they will be on the larger scale. And then the third thing is be yourself, be authentically yourself, because if you're going to be if you're going to try to be someone else, who's going to be you?
Exactly.
And what are you saying about God for creating you the way that He created
Yeah.
you? You're like, I could have done better. I need to
I'm
be
not
like
proud.
this one. Yeah. Pass them at this place.
Yeah.
No, no. Be yourself, be authentically yourself, because
Uh-huh.
uh like um like Tim said in the song Superpower, there's nobody like you, and that is your power. So once you also need to introspect, actually. Introspect a lot, know yourself even more. Have, in as much as you're building a relationship with God, build a relationship even with yourself.
Yes,
Understand
yes.
your thoughts, your feelings, how you
Uh-huh.
react to things, and why you react to those things that will discover
Exactly.
yourself. And at the end of the day, to allow you to just break free from every box that they've tried to put you in, or like wanakupalanisako na uyu ama behave kwati uyu.
And then you start behaving like that to persons.
So sometimes, because
Yeah.
there are certain levels as we're developing, our brain is like a sponge, it just sucks everything.
Exactly.
And if we don't filter things that are not us, it turns out that they start pouring into our character even when it's not.
Exactly.
So this is why introspection is also very important. But overall, just be yourself and be fearless, because you want to make a skit and you're like, I want to do it. Why won't you do it? You're scared. Okay, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen?
Exactly. What if it works out?
Yes. What's the, you post a skit, they don't find it funny, okay? Have you died?
No. Who knows?
Have they murdered your family? You do a song, it's a rubbish song. Of course, they're learning. It's a rubbish song, but
Exactly.
what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, yeah.
And also, the other thing I would say is emotional intelligence, because that's a very important thing, especially in this day and age. Everybody's a keyboard warrior and everybody has an opinion, even when it doesn't make sense. They want to say something.
Yes.
Others are just miserable, and misery loves company. They just want to tear you down.
Yeah.
And others, it's just really constructive criticism. And so you need to know how to take those things as well. You need to know what to filter out, what to get, what will help you grow, what to build on, and what to just completely ignore. So if you don't invest in your mental health, in knowing what ticks you off and all that jazz, then hey, is a good thing about because people will talk.
People will always talk.
It doesn't matter if you woke up, you had a very good morning, you had a bad, because we're human and we experience all these things.
Yes.
But everybody just sees like, this person is famous. You could be having the worst day of your life. You take a picture and post it, and everybody's just like, oh, you look good. They don't know that before that you were crying. Before that, somebody actually dragged you out of the house because you're too depressed to leave the house. They don't know that. And then they'll just come and say anything that they can say just because you are in public domain. So there are those things that will happen, and you can't always control, you can't always confront people for having an opinion about you, your appearance, your art, or anything. So you really need to be strong mentally. You need to have a strong character if the entertainment industry is what you want to get into.
Okay. You've heard, guys. Now move for. It's not easy. You have to be strong. You have to be yourself firstly.
First.
Yeah. So do you just sing gospel music or machakuya pombija where you mix to malavo?
Gospel with I don't know how to describe my music, or because like recently somebody told me lo-fi, and I'm like, what's that? Because like even now I don't know what lo-fi means. But somebody described my music as lo-fi. Other people describe my music as soul. Other people describe it as Afro pop. So I don't know. I sing anything that I feel like singing most of the times, and I have had conversations with people that say you need to start making music for the people and not for yourself, because most of the times when I sing, I'm singing the things that I feel, the experiences that I've had. So yeah, it's not gospel. Although I have a gospel song, the one I did with Tim, and it was just like a tribute to God. I was like, bro, Ndimo mani
Ndimo
do
bakali.
chakomanda.
Kuli bei mwenshi
Yeah,
kuli.
kube mwenzinsanya chini.
Yeah. Okay, so what about so like whenever someone asks you about your music, you just don't know the
I don't know the
genre.
genre, was it?
Okay.
Same music ya mapanga pompinzini mapanga nine. Except every year giving maybe let's say 90% like actual gospel.
Gospel, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And then I go to my love songs. But even love is gospel, because God is love at the end of the day. So yeah.
So are there like some social issues that you're interested in? Like we've seen a number of cases where a lot of girls are being defiled, are being raped, or I don't know. So are there such kind of issues that you're particularly interested in aside what you're doing?
I am quite I don't know the word to use. It's quite an unfortunate scene, because I very much hinge on protecting children in general, and not just the girl child,
Yeah.
because so many children go through molestation, they go through defilement, they go through violation even of their own mental health. There is so much abuse that is going on with kids, and it's not just sexual. It's just that the sexual one seems it's quite sensitive, and I won't say much about it. But there's a lot of abuse that is going on with children, as far as verbal abuse goes, as far as physical abuse and mental abuse goes, and also verbal abuse kind of pours into mental abuse,
Yeah,
because then
yeah.
they're telling you things that you are not.
Exactly.
Yeah, chakuti chako,
And you
yeah,
grow up
dada.
with that.
Yes, and I've seen the effects of that, because I have some quite people that are close to me
Uh-huh.
that grew up in such environments, and seeing how they have turned out today,
Yeah.
it's quite sad. So there's a seed that adults sow into children, and then that seed sprouts in their adulthood, and then it bears very bitter fruit, and then it's just toxic to the environment as a
Yeah.
whole. So I'm quite passionate about protecting children from all forms of abuse, because it ultimately is going to speak on the type of person that they're going to turn out to be in future.
Okay.
And so if we're going to create or if we're going to raise our kids in environments that are going to give them a disformed character, then we are doomed for the future, because
Exactly.
kula empanga,
Yeah.
we're going to have a dysfunctional future as a country, and it's not going to be as adorable as naye vyanamba kutukwana, because
Yeah.
nowadays upeza varekoda na mwana kamwana
Atukana.
kamutukana mwakatana
Ati niko change ya but yeah.
so it's going to be quite tragic. So the future is the kids, and if we don't protect the kids now, the future is doomed. Yeah.
So like have you tried to make content related to that, just to seeing your social media presence, just to bring it out there and let the people know to say this is not right?
No, I haven't, unfortunately, and it's something that I haven't even thought about doing, because I'm quite afraid of making content around such sensitive issues.
Okay.
Because also I feel like I'm not educated enough to speak on these things.
Okay.
I know it's wrong. I have some facts, but I don't have like concrete facts
Okay.
on how to go about it. And simple and ango
Exactly.
because people will come and correct you. They'll be like, and as a result, you can even people will stop listening to you. Even when you come back with facts. They'll be like, "Oh, yeah, makamba chepa upu, sama kamba bazona, yeah, makamba bazo na so." So I will immerse myself in research, in getting educated on these things, so that when I speak on them, I'm speaking from a point of fact.
Yes.
I'm speaking from a point of statistics. Even I'm showing people that this is what's happening because of ABCD and yada yada yada.
Okay. Okay. So what What are your socials for those people who don't know you? But are there people who don't know you? But anyway,
Or they pretend.
yeah. Yeah, for those who don't know you, what are your socials?
My socials are the same everywhere.
Okay.
Except for X, which is like former Twitter.
Uh-huh.
So Vubwi official on Facebook, Vubwi official on Threads,
Mm-hmm.
Vubwi official on Instagram as well as TikTok. And then on Twitter it's S, capital letter S, and then Miyanda with an H at the end.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then for those who would like to, I don't know if it's collaborate with you or work with you or maybe just invite you for something, how can they reach you?
You can reach me through my emails, which are in my bio on Facebook, and also there is a number that you can text there as well for WhatsApp. And please, 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 please go straight to the point. Not say hi, Wankarazi.
Yes, yes.
What's the reply? How are you?
People are busy.
Yeah, we are. Someone is like 100 people.
Yeah, yeah. Hi.
How are you?
Yeah.
I'm fine. What's up?
Anyway. What's up?
Just say hi. My name is Sanana Dada from ABCD. I'm an artist. Blah blah blah. I would like to collaborate with you on such and such a project. Your feedback will be highly appreciated.
That's all. Yeah. Okay, Vubwi, Saliya. It's been lovely having you here. I'm quite humbled. And I really appreciate you coming here.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I hope you guys got something. You just have to get something from this. Yeah.
By force, you don't want to get done.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming. And guys, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow our Facebook page, the Self Revolution Podcast. On TikTok also. Well, I've been your host, Mbuyoti Mujala, and I've been with our guest, Saliya Miyanda, the multi-talented. Yeah. Till next time. See you.
Bye.
Bye.